Hey guys, Richard Petrie here, filming myself, but actually what I'd like to do is turn the camera on my old mate here, Dick. So Dick's filming me and I'm filming Dick, I mean. So you're going to give us a rundown on how to use video to get your message across, sell more, make more money.
Oh, that's a good idea, yeah. Like educate people how to look good on camera and convey the message.
How they can look as good as me on camera.
Oh, yeah. But I think we should do the strategy thing first.
You're talking the triangle of trust, aren't you?
Triangle of trust, yes.
Triangle of trust. Let's do that first. First things first. Right, so what we're going to get into today is the triangle of trust. Very powerful little strategy for increasing sales, increasing the speed of your conversion. So instead of having 3 or 4 meetings, I think you might be able to nail it in 1, 2 maximum. Positions you as the expert in your market, and 4 allows you to charge higher prices. Okay, sound too good to be true, I know, but let's watch the triangle of trust. When you're on TV or you've got some video made up, it's a bit like you're on TV, and we all know someone who's been on TV or even on a computer screen or have written a book, their level of power and expert status goes up. So you want to have a piece of that because it helps speed up the sales cycle too. So the triangle of trust. The triangle of trust is basically you get an appointment, someone rings you up with an inquiry. Instead of just going straight to the meeting, which is almost like just a straight line, you add the extra dimension in the triangle. You add the videos in the middle, and it raises them up over the bar and gives them that education, moves them up. Then you move them to the appointments. 1, 2, 3. The triangle of trust, the T of T. There ain't nothing more powerful in this world for you and me. The triangle of trust. I want to tell you about the triangle of trust because I think it's going to be massively benefit for you to help you with your selling. And without a shadow of a doubt, I'm sure everybody watching this video, particularly if you're driving someone to a meeting, you can use this strategy to help you sell more faster. Anyway, let's go. There's a book called The Game, and it's written by a guy called Neil Strauss, who was a journalist for the Rolling Stone magazine, best-selling author. And what he did was, The Game is all about these pickup artists in LA. And I read the book, and it's a wonderfully entertaining book. I'm happily married and all this type of stuff, and so's the next guy I gave it to. But it's such a good book, and it's a very psychological book. And really what it is, it's a sales manual, really. It's a sales manual for you picking up women, but actually you can apply it in selling, and that's what I want to show you how to do it. Anyway, this book is so good, I lent it to Steve Fleming, who's also happily married, read the book, loved the book. We'd meet at work and talk about all the different strategies and stuff going on, brilliant. And he won't give it back to me. So if you're actually watching this video, Steve, in fact, I might even send this video especially to you. I want that book back. It's not the cheapest book in the world, and I want it back, all right? But anyway, let me tell you about the strategy, okay? And I'm not sure what it was called, but what it involved was the problem they had, these pickup artists have, is how can we quickly gain trust and rapport and liking and knowing with this woman we meet in a bar. So what they decided to do, or what they trialled, and it works, is they would meet the woman in a bar, they would then take her somewhere else, away from that first meeting point. Then they would take them away from the second meeting point to the third meeting point, and then to the fourth meeting point. And what they found was, by using different locations, it almost felt like they were going on 4 different dates. And of course, if you've been on 4 dates, there's a lot more trust than if you're just on the first meeting on the first night in a bar. Now, we need to get to how that applies to you with your clients. So we probably need to move to a different location. So here we are, different location. It's a wee bit like I'm taking you on a series of dates, isn't it? How's that? So we're on the 3rd date now, I guess. So what are we doing here, and how can we apply this to your sales process? So if Neil Strauss was here, the writer of the book, The Game, what would Neil Strauss be saying to you to help you with your sales process? So let's say you're saying my sales process is getting a bit dragged out. Nowadays, in this recession, the sales cycle's slow. We're having 1 meeting and then another and then a third. We might be having 3 or 4 meetings before we get to maybe doing a deal. I reckon what Neil Strauss would say is you would need to take them on a few different dates before that very first meeting. How can you take them on a series of dates and get them to know you, like you, trust you, so that when you turn up for that first meeting, they're ready to do a deal? Okay, well, here's how you do it. The reason you need 2, 3, 4 meetings before your client's ready to make a buying decision is because most buyers, when they're buying anything that's half complex, don't have enough educational knowledge to be able to make a purchase. So for example, I was speaking with Mr. Cameraman Dick earlier on, and he was talking about how he would send a video out to his clients to show them how good his work is, and obviously this is fantastic work, brilliant work. The problem is, if I was to receive that video, I would have no idea of the brilliance I was looking at. It could be brilliant, but to me it's wasted. So for me to see a sample of work, is it good, is it bad? I don't know. It's a bit same for me, a bit like wine. If someone was to send me a bottle of wine and say, well, try it, you'll see for yourself how good our wine is. Well, if you send it to me, all I know is it tastes like wine. I don't know. So have a think about the thing you're selling and how educated are your buyers. And I believe the reason most people have a slow sales cycle is because during the sales cycle, your buyers are actually, you're lifting them up the learning curve to a point where they can make a decision. And if you just assume they can make a buying decision on your first meeting, they don't know enough about it. You haven't given them education. So here's the strategy. What you do is you create some informational, educational products that go out to the client before your first meeting. Now, each of these little videos, for example, that go out, lift the client up. You might send a video out explaining the difference between, if it's video, good and bad video. You might send a next one, a questionnaire outlining the difference between, well, here's the questions, what are your objectives, what do you need to know, what's an ideal outcome for what you're trying to achieve with this communication. Get those two in. It's like taking someone on a couple of dates. It's very, very clever, but it's good for the buyer. It's also good for you because all that heavy lifting gets done before you turn up. So if it's done well, by the time you turn up for that first meeting, to you it feels like a first meeting. To the person buying, to the person you're meeting, it feels like they've met you 2 or 3 or 4 times because they've watched a few videos, they've filled out maybe a questionnaire and some stuff, and they're much better prepared then for that first meeting to actually make decisions. Now, if you want to be really smart with this, and we might say you've got a sales team and they've all got different ranges of skills and ability, and let's say you're the best at it. So what do you do if you're the best pitcher of your products and services? Wouldn't it be cool if you could be all over town at the same time going to meetings before your sales force is going out to meetings? Wouldn't that be cool? And then you deliver the perfect pitch and then your salesperson turns up to then do the paperwork. Well, I reckon you can do that if you create some good videos. So you take your very best educator, explainer, salesperson, you get them on camera to explain all the stuff that the buyer needs to know before they buy. You lift them up and do the heavy lifting with a video. And then, so you do it, make a couple of these, and then you send the salesperson out to then go and pick up the paperwork or do the deal. But you've had the very best pitches in that second and third and fourth date before you've turned up for the live date. There's 2 things that really enhance your credibility and trust and likability with the buyer. One is the amount of dates you've taken them on before you turn up for that first meeting. So that's going to help you without a shadow of a doubt. The more they know and the more education you provide, the better off you're going to be when you turn up. The second thing is, there's a wee bit of that when you see people on TV, or when you see people on TV or you know someone's written a book, their power goes up a couple of notches. And that's the other benefit of having video is your authenticity, your expert status, your power goes up. So well worth having. So anyway, that's the end of this month's little mind bullet of the month. Hopefully you use it and get some value out of it, and by all means, if you're finding getting a slow sales cycle or you're not selling enough, then the triangle of trust, I bet you're not using it. So start using the T of T, and we'll see you next month. Now, if you're interested in how to make your own simple little videos, so you can take your prospects or your buyers on a couple of dates before you or your salespeople turn up, we'll show you in detail how to create some simple little videos, like no cost or very low cost at least.